Like that took so many resources, wasted so much time. And look at that poor Roadhog, right? Like this guy is there it is. There's your Bastion turf kill right there.
Exactly.
Right? Zero peel on that Roadhog.
Definitely.
I guess first things first, is there anything you read compositionally here that has a really big impact?
The enemy team has a hog, so that's already like free farm on your turret farm, right? But you also want to make sure that you're not playing in a I don't know, in a position where you can get hooked, right?
Right.
You want to, especially when they have an Ana, like if you get hooked, you're kind of done. Like they have the spam with Hanzo and the Ana with the nade and the sleep, so if you get hooked, you're done. So just try to play out of range of the hog and then try to catch him and keep track of his cooldowns, the hook, the heal and everything, and punish him.
From my limited experience with Bastion, because I actually played him for half a dozen hours, I want to say 4 months ago, 5 months, something like that, when they initially buffed him, because I want to see how the rework and the nade stuff. And I found that like compositions like these are actually the hardest to play into. I felt like I couldn't really reach anything, right? I got poked out so easily. Does that line up with your experience?
It does line up with my experience. Like I feel like back when I don't know what season it was, season 3 or 2, season 4, when Queen was meta, like that was a really hard meta for Bastion, because you would just get knifed, and it's like the same concept with Hog. You get hooked, right?
Yeah.
Like when we're talking back again about Bastion, like you really got to be aware of your position. If you have an enemy on the enemy team that can take you out of your position or where you want to be, you're kind of like in a rough spot. So like I also use my nade, for example, mostly for movement, just to like, for example, be sure that I can control the map how I want it. Okay, so right now Hawk has no hook, so we can definitely take a little bit of space with the sig. I like that jump.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was actually really good. Like right there, they're keeping track of the Hawk really well, I feel like.
Okay. And why is this good? Like what's the point of going from, where our Sigma is here to there? Like what advantage is it?
I mean, the advantage would be to, for example, make them be forced to look at you. When you know that Hog is right there and he used hook before,
right?
If he hooks you right there, you're hopefully gonna get some peel from your Sig. So you're probably safe. Like Sig has suck, Sig has shield. You're probably safe. When you go up there, if Hog were to, for example, turn it around and his team were to make a counter push, they would have to look at you or they die, right? So they look at you, you're probably safe, and you have an angle on Hog, and you also path towards the high ground. So when you kill Hog, which you probably do because you kept track of his hook and such, you can just move onto the bridge and just keep the momentum going and take the entire corner, right?
Right, so you can go from here to here and so on.
Exactly.
Now, it's also interesting here as well, I don't know if we did this on purpose, but like the high ground that we took, the Hanzo that I don't really want to see right now, and like they can't actually see you, so we're shooting the Hog, but like we're LOSing like the rest of the entire enemy team.
I would probably want to make a move instead of just holding turret form for that long, right?
Okay.
Like you have the corner and you are 5, right? You haven't lost anyone yet, and Doom is kind of deep, and Sig has a lot of space right there, so I would probably want to make a move, especially since Doom is half.
Right. Well, I BAP got sniped, but would you still make a move when you're down one here?
Oh no, I didn't see Bap got sniped. If Bap got sniped, then I would not make a move.
So
if you're down right there, I think I would go a little bit back, hope that they either overextend, just play around my Ana, and just kind of hold the space until Bap is back.
Okay.
And then Soldier goes down. Right here, I would just disengage completely.
Right, so even here is too dangerous.
Yeah, because you can see he's being punished.
Right. It's funny. A lot of people talk to me and they're like, oh, Bastion counters Doomfist. I'm like, well,
no, not really. Like,
not really.
Not really. Doom can be very good against Bastion. Again, like with the same concept, he can take a lot of space and he can move you around with the punch, right?
Right.
And there's also like the fact that you gotta be wary of when you're shooting the block, because you can give him a punch that can kill your entire team, basically, right?
Right. Now, how would you use your ultimate here?
Yeah, I was actually about to say, ooh, let's watch what he does, actually.
Okay.
Okay. I think we pause here and just talk about that as a whole, right? Because like Bastion's ult it's in a fun spot, right? You can use it like in 2 ways from my POV. Okay. You can use it like to either combo with a Sig or a Saya or whatever, right? Like do a combo with someone and hopefully get a massive multi-kill and play of the game. or you can use it like sort of early as like sort of like a pulse bomb, right? Going for the Ana in the backline before the fight starts, making it a 5v4. But right here, we don't have sig ult, so we are kind of forced to go like the pulse bomb route, right? But then we go on the Ashe and the Mercy and the Hanzo. And I think this Bastion player right here is just being a little bit too I don't know if that's the right word, but like a little bit too greedy, like going for the 3 people. But like Ashe can, for example, coach gun away, Mercy can also GA away. I think I would just run for the Ana playing behind the bridge, right?
Right over here.
I feel like that
Gotcha.
would be a way safer shout with the Bastion ult right there.
Makes sense. And even if you were, like you were saying, being too greedy, if you were to go for the Ashe, give her a shot. Here,
Yeah.
See
Always,
how she
like,
reacts
exactly,
right there.
like,
and then
that's
blam.
another thing. Like, general rule of thumb with Bastion ult is first shot gauges where they're moving to, especially if they have a movement ability like Ashe, and then the second 2 shots are follow-up shots, right?
Makes sense.
Even when you're shooting on a hard scoped Ana, like usually the Ana knows that she's about to get ulted, so she's gonna unscope, she's gonna walk. You throw your first shot on her, see where she walks, and then try to gauge the movement based off that with your next 2 shots.
You know, a bit of a hot take here. I'm curious what you think here. I'm actually thinking that shooting Bob here was not the play.
No, I don't think so either. Because Bob isn't really threatening a lot. Bob, the only thing he's doing right now is, I don't know, sort of holding some space, but maybe you would retake even more space if you just shot at the Ashe and Mercy and forced them back,
That's what I was thinking too. Like maybe force that Ashe Mercy back. At least force him back first, then you can go shoot Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
The Marva goes down, then he walks back, it doesn't get punched by Doom, that's pretty good. I feel like we don't walk back here, we try to save the Sig and try to help the Sig after we kill Mercy, right?
Like here?
The Hanzo's yeah, right there. I think we go up. Like, I know there's a dragon, but you can walk left.
Wait, like
to
here?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I would like pressure a little bit more. Like, even if you're not in turret form, you can pressure a lot because you have 300 HP.
As long as you have that cover, right?
Exactly. You have the covers, you can always fall back. And you have a long time where you can peek because you have that much HP.
It seems like we have a little bit of tape strapped onto our mouse 1 button. Because every time we use it, I mean, our mechanics haven't been too bad at points, but this is really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we have not hit a single bullet. And I one of the things that I talk about in my reviews is I talk about something called trigger discipline, which is about just controlling your crosshair, controlling your button, and like actually aiming your shots. And I noticed, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but especially in recon former, is that it's really important to not necessarily leverage that full rate of fire unless you're shooting a shield or a tank or something. But to like really aim those shots. That line up with your experience?
It does depend. Like, if you are really like confident in your aim, especially at an angle like this where you can basically only see your head, if you are really confident in your aim, you can full hold it and then like readjust doing it and maybe miss like only 1 or 2 shots. But like, there's a lot of like, what's it called? It's a lot of like WASD aim, I would almost say. You know what I mean? The mouse isn't moving at all. It's basically just WASD.
Right, we're just moving with our basically with our body.
Our character. Exactly. And like, you're not gonna be like perfectly tracking them if you're moving like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're gonna move like that, which you probably shouldn't, I think I would like tap it more, especially at an angle like this.
Booped off the side. There you go.
Bastion boop is actually really powerful. Like, it's a slept-on part of the right click.
I find it useful because it puts people in a predictable arc.
Exactly. You can really use it. For example, if you turret form whilst you're throwing out your right click, for example, to the right of like a small cover, they're gonna fly out from the left, and then you're already in form, ready to shoot them.
So you could almost like, as they walk forward here, grenade here, bam, they bounce out this way, and then you're already in turret form.
You can definitely do that.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see it. Do they do the I always say the 1, 2, 3 or the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. The one.
You see, there's the greed that you were talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We want 3 kills.
Yeah, and so Bastion ult is just not made for that.
And this is like where essentially the only kill you get is if somebody makes a mistake. So I'm curious here, what happens here? We weren't even going for him. We weren't even going for him. Wait, what happens to the Ana? What happens to the Ana here?
Jeez.
Oh, she gets... Oh, she just keeps pressing S. She just keeps pressing S. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
and she's also pathing into the wall. Like,
Yeah.
if you were in a maybe if in the diamond replay, we might see Anna's like being a little bit better at, for example, going to the right in that
Yes.
situation.
Well, I think the key thing I always say is when, even though it works in diamond, but it didn't work last time we did it, right? It didn't work the last Bastion ultimate. So even though it might work in diamond, sometimes it's not working enough to get us into masters. It's only working 50% of the time, right? So because last Bastion ult did nothing.
I think we're just staying out a little bit too much in the open there. And the
Agreed.
tank and the Moira is just far up. So, you know, you got to be a little bit careful. Maybe even like hug the right wall a little bit more.
Like here or even here.
Yeah, to try and like LOS like the high ground a little bit.
It's kind of like what I was asking you about earlier, where I was saying, like, is this not going to be a terrible composition to play into? And you're like, yeah. I mean, it's not. You said the hog, but we even talked about like the Ana is terrifying at this. Like the soldier does so much damage. Hanzo is miserable, right? Like anything that has any sort of range that's going to poke you out here, it's like you almost have to function like almost like a Reaper, kind of like a weird sort of like medium-ish range Reaper in a weird sort of way.
But if you're like, for example, if you're struggling here to like cross this open path, I would like path to the right, like close to the wall, and maybe even use my right click for some movement to move up with my Orisa.
Yeah. See, I didn't think about that. This is where it's like you're kind of stuck in no man's land here, but that's what you use your nade for, right? Okay.
Yeah, I really like the nade is mostly a movement ability for me actually. Like pre-fight, I spam it for some damage, but like Bastion's biggest issue has always and will always be his movement.
What are some themes that you're seeing? I mean, we'll have more footage here in a second, but what are some things you want to keep an eye on so far?
There's a lot of like playing out in the open right now, which I don't know if that's on purpose or if he feels like he has to go on the open to like get an LOS and turret form on them. But against this and on this map, I think you just sort of die if you do that. Like, play around, try really to get up into those like corner chokes. That's like really what this map, especially this first point and the second point, is about. Like, right here you could even hold close, but maybe he doesn't want to do that. But with Bastion, it might be smart to like hold close around this first corner.
Sure.
And like you know, close in the distance, because Bastion is really good at that distance.
Sure. So mostly cover, closing the distance, and then obviously the ultimate greed that you were talking about. I think turret forms, grenades, okay. What are your thoughts?
I think the grenades are actually really good. I think the grenades are really good. I think sometimes the turret form is, I don't know. It's a little bit. Sometimes it's a little bit sparingly used. Like, I feel like you don't get as much value out of the turret form as you could. Like, I've noticed like 2 times they cancel the turret form a little bit early.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
2 times they cancel turret form a little bit early, and when they turret form, they shoot a doom block or like shoot at a long range with turret form, right? And you can make up for example, the long range with the movement of the Bastion. Like, a lot of people get really scared if they see a flying Bastion fly into them, and then you just gotta like it's actually like it's really strong. Like, just throwing yourself at the enemy in Bastion turret form and making sure you do it at an angle where you're still like sort of with your team. That stuff can really get you a lot of value, because like I said, like one of the big problems with Bastion is the movement. So if you can throw yourself in a position where you suddenly control them all with turret form, the entire map, like you're owning a lot of space and also dealing a lot of damage in the process.
Hanzo, Ashe, Doomfist, Ana, nightmare composition.
Very nightmare comp right here.
Cover, but also nightmare comp.
Yeah, nightmare comp, but yeah, again, cover. Like, I don't really know if I'm a fan of playing in that like top right high ground.
Sure.
Either way, like I would probably play around the first bridge. So
like here?
Yeah, like here, and then I could fall back to the right.
So like E here, or fall back this way?
Yeah, fall back all the way to the corner.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
Okay, right here, we gotta be aggro. We gotta be very aggro. I feel like we have 0.79 on the card, so we're pretty much forced to play around the card. Like, I think we gotta go down and retake some of the space.
Sure.
Because right now we're just walking around a lot on the high ground, and we're not even like fully committing to tracking people with our left click. We're just kind of like still poking when we need to be fighting for our life, you know.
Certainly now that we have that turret form.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now what would you do here? What would you do here?
I mean, I see the ball is at like half HP. I would either like take the angle on that Hanzo Mercy, but then again, that's very dangerous because you can see it's Hanzo Mercy, the damage boosted, you're maybe gonna die. So either I would drop down, try to take the angle at them, but I probably wouldn't do it. because we are ball and not sick. So I would maybe just stay up here in turret form, supply some damage down, and like, you know, help our ball trying to hold the point. Ooh.
I mean, even that wasn't too bad, you know.
Exactly. Like, it's not that bad. Like dropping down on the Hanzo if you just live.
Did we cancel turret?
I think we did. Yeah. Again here, like we are getting value with the turret. Like we're almost killing that Hanzo, which is a very big threat to us. But
yeah,
it's not the maximum value we could be getting.
If we were maybe slightly tighter to cover that you were saying earlier. And trusted our turret damage. Maybe then we take a little bit less damage. We trust the heal from our support, so that we're able to
and even
stay.
Like even when he's in turret form and he goes back to like try and retreat and he cancels it, you can see the Doom tries to catch him a little bit, right?
Yeah.
If he hadn't canceled the turret form, he could turn on the Doom, force the Doom to block, and then he's in a really bad spot. The Doom.
Now, how would you position here? Because we've got time now to actually choose our engagement here. So where would you go?
I would probably be playing up where our cast is right now, because like we do have a very good path from there. But if not over there, because I was scared of the Hanzo spam or whatever, I would probably play all the way right with us and just like trying to like, you know, again, you can fall behind that cover there on the left, right? Always have some cover to fall back to.
Sure. And then we've kind of rotated. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Mm-hmm. I actually am wondering. I actually think I might like this position.
I don't think it's that bad either. I think it's actually.
It feels a little closer, a little easier to get that turret and nade value from here. You know, while still having some form of cover, maybe. As long as our support can see us, maybe it's okay.
It is, but like again, it's a lot to rely on that the supports go out there and see you.
That's true. That's true. Good target focus there.
Really good target focus.
We cancel.
I would say like a little thing though is like when ball tries to slam, you just gotta like kind of gotta read your ball a little bit and like be ready to right click his slams, because you can get an immense amount of value out of that. Especially if you have Discord on your team with some. Like really gotta focus the Ana or Zenyatta in your games. Like they're really easy targets, right?
Or certainly if we're gonna focus the Ashe like we talked about earlier, or anything. I mean, what does this shot even aim for? I mean,
exactly.
This looks like a disco rave party, but it's just a terrible Bastion ultimate.
If we are gonna be shooting at an Ashe, I do recommend like an even bigger pause than you might think. Like a first like shot to bait out the coach gun, then you see where she's moving, and then you place it where she's gonna land. Right? Yeah. So also like definitely with the Bastion as well. Like you gotta. Really be mindful of your HP, like your hitbox, your head is so big. Like you have 150 HP wide swinging Ashe Hanzo right now. It's a very risky situation to put yourself in.
Main takeaways here. We talked about the greed with the ultimate being a big one, the cover being a big one, and then specifically a little bit more educated aggression around that turret form. With
your ult especially, like how are you gonna use it? Are you gonna be using it as like a combo? We saw at the start of the game they had Sig. If you're playing Bastion Sig, that's a really strong ultimate combo. Like if he hits a Sigma ult on, for example, 3 people, you just place the shots right under, they fall into them, they're half HP, they get shot by Bastion shots, they die. Like that's a multi-kill. Or you can go the other route, which is like the more pulse bomby, like pre-fight, maybe even like sort of start mid-fight, like look for the kill on the Ana, right? I don't know, the ult there was very greedy. Looking for a bunch of multi-kills, and especially on some targets that have movement abilities like Ashe.
Sure. So again, just let me know when to pause. Talk me through your thought processes, the good, the bad, you know. So
right here, we're just trying to like secure this first corner, right?
Right.
Because we want to like go up here so we can play, get some space. I'm just shooting a little bit at D.Va. Right here, the further range, because of the weapon spread and such, I don't want to turret form that early. I just want to shoot a little bit in recon. Then I turret form a little bit when I'm getting low to utilize the damage reduction, right?
Right. So that was almost a defensive use of it. But in a way, it still accomplishes, like if we look at this from like, I love freaking space, man. I love space so much, you know. So I'm looking at this here and I'm like, all right, there's the positioning of their Ashe and Soldier initially. You pop the turret form. And then if we skip forward 7 seconds, what they've actually done is they've rotated right, allowing my hog to actually go for a hook. If I don't turret form, I don't know if my hog can go for a hook. Right?
Like turret form is just, a lot of it is to create space throughout like just the thread, like we talked about it earlier. if you are shooting at a Bastion and he's in turret form and it's just the two of you shooting at each other, you're probably not gonna win that one usually,
right,
because it's just so much damage, right? And he has the damage reduction as well, 300 HP. So you create a lot of space just with the use of your turret form.
Is that the same idea here, just to create a distraction while your Echo Mercy's on the flank?
Yeah, I think I'm just right here. If I remember correctly, I'm just turret forming to just deal some hotshot damage, get some value in. Whilst I'm rotating here on the off angle, like my turret cooldown is coming back, you know, so I'm ready.
Got it. And then now that your hog is here, your Echo's ready, you're on the angle,
like
and
we're
you're
setting up.
almost have your turret.
Space.
You almost have that turret ready. So it's like kind of synchronizing that pressure at the same time.
Exactly. It's all about pressure. It's all about space and the space that you create with the pressure of your turret form.
I mean, look at this, right? This is like these guys. This is terrible for Team Blue squishies. I mean, where are they going to go? They got a soldier on the flank, you know, a hog pushing forward, and then now you're off angling with the turret. I mean, it's just miserable. And they can't even cross. I mean, there's no cover for them anywhere they go.
Exactly. Like we totally isolate their tank by just turret forming on her, and she has to fall back, and then the squishies are then again isolated on the right.
So it's a mixture of patience and then decisiveness when that opportunity presents itself to create some space, right?
That's why you'll also notice, like, I think a big difference here in the replay from before. We did see him cancel his turret form almost every time. Like, I think he really wanted to let the cooldown like begin, so he could get it back again, right? But there's just so much value you can get out of one turret form. Even if you think it's like bad in the start, you are still forcing them back because they can't really peek as long as you're in turret form.
And so just them hiding is value sometimes.
Exactly. That's absolutely value.
I mean, that's huge right there. This is what we talked about. You find that Ana.
Yeah.
You get one right on her, read her movement. She cuts this way, so you go this way. But because she's indecisive, she's like 80-80 strafing, she's dead.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I got an extra shot here. Blam.
Yeah, just that extra shot was just thrown up. But it's the concept of like the first shot gauges the Ana's movement, and then the second shot, you know, picks up the final kill. And just in general, here with my hog, you'll see me a lot like just playing for him mostly. Right. Because he draws them out of position and I can follow up, right?
Right. It almost feels like you're trying to just like bait attention, bait resources there, you know? Because you're like...
Yeah, I see the card like, moving.
And then they're like, freaking out. And there's, I think, Sleep Dart, there's Nade, there's...
Yeah, exactly.
Valk, there's Full Matrix, and you're just like, peace, you know? Just totally back out. Now, would you retake high ground here with Nade?
I don't remember if that's what I do, but I probably would.
Maybe not.
Okay, I pick up soldiers, so maybe not. Maybe not.
But
let's say we're in a 5v5 situation here where I don't pick up soldier, you know, then I would probably try to pressure the high ground again, you know.
Again, this is just the zoning value, right? Like you just the damage here is almost not meaningless, but not high, but it completely took the Ana and Mercy out of that.
Yeah, I actually like I genuinely think you don't have to get the kill secured. You just have to get them so low that they can't play. Because that's like virtually a kill sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
So our previous Bastion player is actually in chat. They asked, did we talk about Bastion versus D.Va? She's so annoying to play against, especially as Bastion.
I actually... Maybe this is a little bit of a controversial opinion, especially from a Bastion OTP. I don't think D.Va is that much of a problem. And here's the reason. Like, the DM, it's what, like 6-second cooldown if you full hold it from max. And Bastion turret form is like 8 or something, right? And you can also, like, D.Va, if she spends all her DM and all her resources going on you, that's honestly fine. Like, you're taking their tank out of the game. You'll be doing that anyways, right? If you're turret forming on her. And there, like I said again, Bastion isn't useless in its recon form. You have a lot of strength with those recon shots. Like, they deal a lot of damage. So if D.Va spends all her resources on your turret, and like I said, you have 2 seconds where you can shoot in your turret form, where she has no way of having DM, then you're still applying more pressure to them than when she is using all of her stuff on you. You're still applying more pressure than, you know, if it were against anyone else. I don't think D.Va is that much of a problem. And especially with what I'm playing right here with a Hog. If Hog hooks D.Va, which he can do the DM, then I just turret form on her and she just almost instantly dies.
And this is where just Bob, because there's nothing else really to shoot.
Yeah.
And even just making sure they can't take space off of the Bob even, you know?
Yeah. Like, I think maybe a lower rank Bastion might, like, engage to try and secure the kill on the bot, but it's not really that important.
Just hold that corner. Like the cover usage has been a big difference between you and the previous Bastion.
The only reason I shoot the bot is because you have infinite ammo in turret form, right?
Sure.
So I just want to use it.
So I'm noticing some of the indirect value out of turret, but the big one is fun for me has been the cover usage in the ultimates, right? Like the ultimates, everyone is that the one and it's following the movement, and then the cover usage is so disciplined, right? Every time it feels like you get shot, you're right next to a wall.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're always like ready to fall back, and you always have like sort of this path in the back of your mind.
Right.
I was just gonna say you're probably gonna see me play even further back right now because they have hog.
Sure.
Like we were looking at the enemy team having a hog or something, right? Like you're probably gonna be seeing me trying to play sort of out of that hook range most of the time.
I was thinking about this, and I'm like, you could be reconning here, but I also realized reconning might get your head blown off by that damage boosted dash.
Exactly.
Your head is in your butt cheeks. You can't be headshot when you're in turret form.
That's actually, I don't know if you remember, that's one of the first things I talked about when we got on this call.
Yeah.
Bastion is actually like against heroes that really rely on those headshots. He can be super strong because your head just doesn't exist in turret form. Plus you have the damage reduction. Plus you have 300 HP. Plus some of it is armor, right?
Yeah.
You can really like Bastion can really actually sometimes take out some of the snipers like Widow.
Yeah.
If you play it right. If you play
Interesting.
it right. Hanzo is scary, but
as bad as this matchup is for you, you do have that strength going for you.
Yeah.
The poke heroes rely on those headshots. Okay.
Yeah.
In the cover here, right?
Yeah.
Immediately swapping to the squishy when it pushes forward, and then another squishy, then the tank.
Exactly.
It's almost like a little bit of ADHD turret,
Yeah, exactly. And you also noticed I don't have to kill them. Like the fact that I just shoot them like that allows a hog, for example, to get up to the high ground with the life we were pet. Right. Allows a echo to set up correctly and such.
Right. Just the respect that you force.
Yeah, and almost resets their entire push. Like if I hadn't turret form there, or if I didn't have it, they would have been able to take the space, right?
And I think I know so many people that would have immediately turned to shoot Roadhog here, right? Because turret form shoots tank, but right now it's like the Roadhog. He's not really out in the open. He's got a lot of cover, and the soldier's on an off angle. He needs to get out.
Yeah.
So you shoot that soldier, then you go back to shooting a soldier again, and you just basically deny that value.
Exactly. Yeah. Really bouncing the aim around. Like,
oof.
Sometimes even like, it might be like sort of a controversial thing I'm about to say, but sometimes even low-key ignoring the tank. Like sometimes.
You realize whose stream you're in, right? You realize whose stream you're in. Yeah, I mean, this is the Spiloism. But yeah, I 100% agree. All right, here we go.
Only sometimes.
Here it is. Know where she can go.
Exactly.
Big Boy asks, I haven't talked about it yet. Can you ask Herloaf what heroes he likes to have the most on his team? Like, who should you play if you're duoed with a Bastion main?
For tank right now, obviously I really like Sig. Sig is really strong because he has a lot of peel potential for you. If you're, for example, playing into like what we're looking at right now, a Roadhog, which you said could be like really hard for me, which I do agree with sometimes. Even though he's a big squishy, he has like I mean, a big target for you to shoot with turret form. He has like this hook that can take you out of position. Sig can just come and use his hands on you and shield on you, and it's a very good combo with the double Bastion ult. Like, there's a lot of peel potential right there. Even if he's losing out on one of the cooldowns, like his shield, he probably has hands, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff there to help. And for support, I really like, Bab. Again, the peel with the ammo. If I'm just allowed to be alive, I can almost like act as a second tank whilst also dealing that insane amount of damage, right?
Yep. I've loved playing with a flanker as well on DPS. I don't know if that's your experience as well.
Oh, definitely.
Tracer, anything that can pull attention away from where I'm at, so that there's more of like I get more presence on front line, and then they're not always looking at me. That they might have to turn around for the Tracer, the Sombra. I don't know if you feel the same.
No, I actually I can really vibe with that. Like, I think also if you are like, as I am right here, forcing the soldier away from the off angle. And shooting the hog a little bit, you can see he's low. He's going back. Like, it's really easy pickings for the Tracer, because imagine right now they had someone in their backline. Messing with them.
I mean, think even about your attack, like how much value the Echo on that, like the hard flank was getting. It felt like there was nowhere for them to hide. They had to wear a Bastion main, Echo behind. Like,
Echo is actually she's doing it this game.
Yeah,
taking that off and taking those flanks. Oh no, I remember this. Look at this.
Oh no. Okay, you got it. That's all that matters. And you're just doing this to hold space. You're just like, you're not allowed to peek. You're not allowed to peek.
Exactly. Letting my hog like push up again.
Right,
and, like,
right.
take it. Like I don't even have to see him. All I know is that he can't walk out from there, right?
Right, right. I was about to ask you as you about to ult here, but let's say you didn't have ultimate here. Would you turret form this crossing while playing around Roadhog Hook? Or is it too exposed?
I wouldn't turret form here. Like,
okay.
Hog is playing on the left, so even if he hooks someone, it's gonna be hard for me to follow up that much, especially if it's a squishy, right?
Okay. Okay.
Like right here, they have like the little bit of cover with the fence on the bridge. And,
Yeah,
like,
I see
the
that.
supports are playing a little bit far back. I would just stay in the recon mode here, try and go for some cheeky headshots.
Okay.
Again, like same concept with the turret form, forcing them low so it's harder for them to push.
Got it.
But
Got
like
it.
just from a longer range, because at that point the spread is just too much.
Sure. Here it comes. Found her. Oh, she did it. She almost got. She had a mercy pocket. So
I think it's important to look at her movement here.
First shot, you're not quite centered.
Yeah,
and then you read her movement wrong in the second one.
Yep. Exactly.
So you go to fix it, but I think she actually cuts. Yeah, she's able to just hard W key out. Is able to get out.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that, like that took so many resources, wasted so much time. And look at that poor Roadhog, right? Like this guy is there. It is. There's your Bastion turret kill right there.
Exactly.
Right? Zero peel on that Roadhog.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then comboing that with the turret form just to keep them ranged, poked out. And then now it's like they literally could not take space. So I guess we've talked a lot about like the indirect value here, but Frito says you should never use turret form to poke, but it seems like Herloaf is doing that sometimes. Is just a map feature, or are there exceptions to the rule Frito gave?
I don't know. Like, I do poke sometimes with turret form, but it really does depend. Like when I decide to go turret form to like sort of poke, it's sort of like I feel like they're sort of killable, even though I'm only poking. You know what I mean? Because turret form, it is really fast damage. So like sometimes if I do see them like playing on the open, I might take a risk in turret form and go for the poke that might turn into a kill. But
can I guess?
Usually, go on.
Here's what I'm seeing from your turret form. I'm the artist. I can't paint myself, but I can analyze other people's art. I'm noticing your turret forming when zoning the enemy backline, just keeping them distracted and busy is good enough value. So like when you were turreting here, you would never turret form this far away if the Roadhog was sitting over here, because they're just going to sit and wait it out and nothing happens. But when you let the Roadhog cross and then you used your ult, whatever, then you turret form, this Roadhog is totally by himself and the turret is stopping them from walking forward. So even though it's doing 0 damage, the poke threat is preventing them from walking forward, which is what's killing your tank.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit there and poke in recon mode on the supports, hit the headshots, they would be low. Yeah. But like they wouldn't respect it, you know. They would still walk through it and they wouldn't die because I'm poking, right?
Sure.
If I turret form, they have to respect it, because if they do keep walking in the turret form, then they start to enter that dangerous zone.
So I guess the rule is me zoning backline or zoning people getting value right now? Are we fighting elsewhere so I can zone and get value? Because a lot of people will turret early and then nothing's happening and then it's wasted. But yeah, okay then. Okay. Yeah. I know where this is going. Know where she can go that time. Oh, I got the mercy.
What?
Oh no.
You can see it again there. Like I tried to predict the Anna's movement by placing it on the boat on the right, you know. Yeah. Because I was thinking she would go to the right.
I was thinking too.
She sees those rings and thinks she's safe, but like somehow she lives, and I get the mercy instead because
she just presses W. She just commits.
Yeah.
You know. But the funny thing is that even if you know they do live here, like this is in the middle of a team fight brawl. You know, like this is so uncomfortable for them to be thinking about. Oh, that was almost beautiful. You almost led it perfectly. You get the shot instead, though, so that's all that matters. Can't leave cards, so...
Exactly, like Bastion ult is really good at overtime.
Look at that.
Like, they just instant run back.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, just look at the zoning value. Ashe can't hide from you and Sombra at the same time. She has to chick and choose.
Exactly. That nano is really good, though.
That was a good nano. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well... I guess a lot to learn. You know, obviously, like I said, the big things for me were just like the importance of like how much value you're getting out of cover and your ultimates. And then the other detail that we kind of picked up on the end is just the indirect value. of turret, where sometimes you weren't actually doing with the zoning, the chaos, the attention, the so much value from just not even hitting many shots, but just creating value that way. I mean, obviously, like you said, the mechanics, the nades, that kind of stuff. But those are the big three that stood out to me.
Yeah. The space control with like the pure threat of damage turret is really what you want to look at, I think.
And to me, that's the ceiling more than anything else, right? Obviously the grenade, the mechanical ceiling, but like I think that's where like you're going to get some extra value where people are like, oh, what's the difference between me and Herloaf? You know, like my mechanics aren't that much worse. Well, because you're doing the things that don't really look all that flashy, you might not even notice the value that you get from it.
Like it's way more about like just like the general like game sense.
Yeah.
What you're allowed to like do. So if you have like the really high ranked game sense of it, you can use Bastion as a very good tool to like put that into reality.
Makes sense.
To play how you want them to play.